In the news tonight, Prime Minister Raul Gonzalez speaks out on picture of controversial Venezuelan map, and Housing Ministry fires employee over alleged corrupt practices. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Raul Gonzalez, who is coming under fire for standing behind an image of the map of Venezuela, which included Guyana's Essequibo region, said he had no knowledge of the picture. Dr. Gonzalez, who recently facilitated the signing of the December 14, 2023 Argyle Declaration between President Irfan Ali and Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, said he was informed that the image was taken in 2022 at an event to commemorate the life and work of Venezuelan Simon Bolivar, known as the Liberator. According to the Prime Minister, while he has never seen the picture in circulation, he was advised that someone attached to the Venezuelan embassy placed the image in front of the group. According to him, he did not look at the depiction but assumed that it was an image of Simon Bolivar. In a letter addressed to Presidents Irfan Ali and Maduro, Dr. Gonzalez said it was unfortunate that his innocent inadvertence on his part has been used by some to drum up unnecessary antipathy of one kind or the other. He further said that he has spoken to his friends Irfan and Barrett, that is President Irfan Ali and Vice President Barrett Jagdeo, on the matter of the image, and hopefully it has been laid to rest where it ought to properly reside among the asserted ghosts from the past, which ought never to rule us from the grave. The image was brought to the public's attention by Guyanese-born Antigua and Barbuda's ambassador, Dr. Ronald Saunders, on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Guyana's opposition leader Orbie Norton said the picture with Prime Minister Gonzalez sends the wrong signal.
It is known for years that Venezuela has been making this claim, and Venezuela was putting out maps. Now, a prime minister of a country that supports Guyana should not, by any stretch of imagination, find himself in such a picture. I do not want to offer a view as to whether he did it consciously or not. I will never know that. What I do know, it sends the wrong signal. More so if you accept that he was involved in the Argyle Declaration and has been given a kind of a permanent status. It is unacceptable for him to be involved with in a picture like that. Like I said, I don't want to comment on whether he knew what was in the picture. What I would say is that he should have known, because this is a critical issue. CARICOM has been discussing it for years, and he would have known the situation. That it is dated is irrelevant. In this modern world, what used to be dated emerges today and has its impact. And what matters is the negative impact of it on an issue that is critical to Guyana.
Extra lime, lemon, and you will agree. Extra lemon and lime, it's the two combined. It's one of a kind. Extra lemon and lime. Extra. And when we drink it, drink extra. And when we drink it, drink extra. When we drink it, drink extra. Hey, well if you're in the party or line, I don't like it from the first time. When you see the two, they combine. It's a drink and taste, you will never decline. Extra lemon and lime, it's the two combined. Extra lemon and lime. Extra lemon and lime. Taste the citrus in every sip.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. Anyone who will be 18 years or over by December 31, 2023 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more is eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted a preliminary list of electors, PLE, at popular locations in all the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check whether your particulars or that of other electors are accurate. You can object to anyone who you believe does not qualify for inclusion in the OLE. To do so, you must be listed in the same divisional list as the person you are objecting to. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to make an objection. The objections aspect of this exercise will end on Monday, the 22nd of January 2024. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
I am Avinash Narayan.
First met Avinash through one of my friends, and it was an instant meeting between two souls.
Crystal is a genuine person. She loves fashion.
He's one of those souls that once you meet him, it's hard not to love him.
My grandmother, my mother, and her eldest sister, they were seamstresses. And I guess that's where my inspiration came from. It was very hard for me coming out to my family. Back then, being gay wasn't accepted. There is still a lot of stigma and discrimination attached to us. But at the end of the day, I'm human just like you are.
It's important for me to be an ally on such an important topic because he's my friend. He's also a human being, and everybody needs support.
Revelations that a number of employees of the Ministry of Housing and Water were involved in corrupt practices at the ministry. Only one employee was fired, and this is according to Susan Rodriguez, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water. Rodriguez said this was because of the lack of concrete evidence to support the other allegations made against the other employees.
We were able to get evidence on one employee. That's the one that in relation to the statement I made, she was arrested, she was questioned, and I believe put on bail. The last I know is that the file is with the DPP, so I assume the police is waiting for the return of that file before charging her.
She, however, said they were continuing with the investigations nevertheless.
If people come forward and make accusations or allegations, we encourage them to provide us with some form of evidence so we can take definitive action in that regard. And just to say as well that many of the people who make complaints or allegations on social media are people who have given somebody, a middleman or a third party, money in exchange for land and have not gotten through.
Further on the issue of the staff member within her secretariat who was named as being involved in corrupt practices, Minister Rodriguez said it was because of his actions that the employee was terminated.
That you say that I defended, I merely presented the facts. That employee was the employee that was approached by the other employee who was subsequently arrested. So he facilitated the investigation with the police. When she approached him to set up a scheme to help her to get house lots to allocate other people, he reported the matter to me. I advised him to report it immediately to the police. We called in the police. We gave all the information to the police, and the sting was set up. So recordings were made and all of the evidence gathered that would lead to the arrest of the other employee. So the employee that I spoke publicly about is the one that was facilitating the investigation with the police.
However, Senior Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell said the only department authorized to allocate house lots is the Allocations Department. He said too that since the Land for Money scandal, the ministry has implemented new measures which allows applicants to follow up on their applications, and that include online and in person.
So when that is finished weekly, they take a note of those, and weekly that is submitted, and we have to do checks to see if these are all applicants, etc. That is why I was willful to mention that as a deliberate policy, we are moving to ensure that we are able to satisfy 2019 and prior. So you won't have all of this, oh, I'm 2016, a 2017 girl before me, all of that. And the other thing is what we have noticed, and this is a fact. As a minister, somebody will come, I walk everywhere. Persons will come to say, I'm a pending applicant, etc. You take note of the name. And that is why we have been able to ensure that we follow the years now. Because you take note of the name, but that also happens elsewhere. So we don't know what happens on the ground. So we have eliminated all of that. If persons are following up, it has to be the individual themselves. No third party is following up.
Last year, several employees of the Ministry of Housing were named in a land for money scandal, which saw persons coming forward and calling the names of persons who paid monies to facilitate the allocation of lands.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions for you to check if you are listed and if your particulars are accurate. If you will be 18 years or over by December 31, 2023, a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. For inclusion in the OLE, you are required to apply for registration if your name is not in the PLE, apply for a transfer if you have changed your address since you were last registered, apply for a name change if you have changed your name, or apply for a correction if your registration particulars are incorrect. Any person applying for a change or correction in his or her particulars must provide the relevant original documents: birth certificate and deed poll in the case of a name change by deed poll, marriage certificate and ID card in the case of name change by marriage, divorce absolute in the case of a woman who was registered in her married name but who is now desirous of returning to her maiden name, birth certificate, adoption certificate, naturalization certificate in the case of correction of minor clerical errors. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the transactions. The claims aspect of this exercise will end on January 15, 2024. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
I'm the manager over here at Brooklyn Institute of Vocational Training. We provide home health aid training here. For that, we have flexible classes, which includes morning, evening, and the weekend class. You can choose any class, whichever is convenient for you. Also, this career is now at the peak. This career pay rate increases from 1909 till up to 2109 now. I speak different languages, which includes Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu, Bangla, and our certificate is recognized all over the New York because we are licensed from Board of Education. Once you graduated from our school, you can work with any agency anywhere in New York. Our address is 110-05 Liberty Avenue, Queens. Guys, I know the name is Brooklyn Institute, but we are located in Queens. I repeat the address, 110-05 Liberty Avenue, Queens. 11419 is our zip code, and my number is 929-386-0092. If you have any questions, you can always call me and I will be happy to answer all your questions. Don't forget to check our website www.mybrooklyn.institute.com. Come join our school and get home health aid certificate, as we like to believe changing lives one student at a time.
To tell you about my mom and how I lost her, it was a very hard reality for me.
I met Crystal through a friend who asked me to speak to her. The first time I saw her, my spirit just took a liking to her. I see Crystal as my daughter. I haven't given birth to Crystal, but I feel as if I do.
I felt alone. I got the support I needed from her.
I understand that Crystal was a lesbian. I choose to accept and embrace and love everybody. I'm a Christian and I believe we are all God's children. God loves everyone. It's about time we all get educated enough to know that, you know what, everybody is just the same human.
She never questioned it. She just supported me right through it.
So I see her as a young woman full of potential. Crystal and every gay and lesbian person should be treated with respect in Guyana.
"20 fatal workplace accidents were recorded last year," says Labour Minister Joseph Hamilton. The minister was speaking at his end-of-year press conference. According to the minister, most of the workplace deaths were recorded in the mining and construction sectors. He noted that while the figure has decreased from 2020, it was still of concern.
So over a 3-year period, we have moved from 32 deaths in that year at least, and now 20 deaths that should not have happened, at least most of them in my view. Someone would ask the question, what's the big issue here? The big issue here is every death is a person, it's not a statistic. It's somebody's child, husband, father, some set of people mourning, some set of people having a funeral. And so for me, I don't treat these as statistics, and that's why we are doing everything possible to ensure that this can be reduced to zero. We have established several joint technical committees with partner agencies, whether private sector or public sector, to help to ensure that this fatality rate decreases. We still have most of the deaths are happening in mining, construction. We have had 1 or 2 in agriculture, but the bulk of the workplace deaths are in mining and construction.
He said there were 175 non-fatal reported accidents.
Then we have moved into engaging the agriculture sector and manufacturing sector as regards supervision. Of course, we had this special investigation. You would remember the Bosai accident and death that we are still supervising. Just last week, the technical committee, they were in Linden to review the recommendations and the work that Bosai must do.
The minister noted that training is ongoing in the private and public sectors on occupational safety and health free of cost. For these and other stories, do visit us at our website www.rdproductiongy.com.